What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another great episode of Our Smooth Club, the show where everyday men discuss everyday topics. I'm Arrington Gavin. Alongside with me, I have a great panel of my good friends and business owner. I have Mr. Jonathan Jones and Mr. Danny Hinton. So, fellas, another day. How's everybody doing today?
Good, man. Glad to be back.
That's good. That's good. Well, look, I want to kind of start us off on a little, deep topic, but we got to talk about it. Race and discrimination in America and just really in our society. Do you see any changes going on in future times? Because you look at like you saw how 2020 was. We had marches on basically equality for African Americans. You still have teachers that are protesting on better pay. You have women. You have women's marches. I mean, you saw how many people were out there in different states marching for women's rights. We have all of this going on. Do you ever think that is ever going to be a time where we all bleed the same blood? Basically, we're all are just going to be equal. We all going to have the same opportunities, or do you think it's all going to kind of be like the age of spin, and we're going to be doing the same thing? We're still going to have marches. We're still going to have protests. We're still going to have mistreatment in other aspects. I mean, do you think we're ever going to change? Because I think after 2020, we kind of learned from that. I mean, you think we learned, but I mean, what do y'all think? Whoever wants to start.
I would hope so. I really would hope that my sons would not have to be marching and protesting and doing all the things that we done or our parents or grandparents done. I've been all around the world, and I see that in other places it's not as bad as it is in the states. As far as discrimination, it still goes on. It still has an element everywhere, but you get a better shape anywhere else. You feel more comfortable when you go anywhere else. So I would hope that some of that would eventually get to the states where we all could, be comfortable. You don't have to be protesting and marching for something that we should already be able to, have and,
Yeah, exactly.
not have to protest or march to get it. So hopefully, sooner than later, that we will all be able to, have equality and none of this protesting and marching and all this other stuff that you got to do to feel comfortable where you was born and where you was raised. So
I think it is possible. Like, I don't want to be that guy to say it, but like, you got to get them old fuckers out. Them old ones that been in office for 30 years that just sitting there, just collecting a paycheck and promising, oh, we gonna do this. They're not gonna change nothing. Like the newer people in Congress, like they kind of shaking stuff up outside. They don't like them because they're actually talking about stuff. And like I think once they see their way out, that like actual change is gonna start coming, and like it's gonna be better for everybody.
Well, I'm just hoping that we will see a difference because again, I mean, you have women that are CEOs, right? Same jobs as a male CEO, but guess what? The pay raise is 20 times lesser than that. Why? I don't understand. They're doing the exact same work, probably even harder to where they had to get, but they're not getting paid for it. Again, you have teachers, one of the hardest jobs out there, right? They don't get paid enough or even have the right benefits. Again, you have things that people get treated based off the complexion of their skin or just where they come from. Why is that when we're always told that we're blessed with these, like you said, you've been all around the world, which we do have better opportunities in our state compared to maybe other countries. But again, I just hope because 2020 just was an eye opener for me because I've grown up like learning the stuff. You heard that in like history books. You heard about civil rights, the MLK. You heard about this and that. I think 2 years or a year ago they had the huge women's march, like the first ever, and that was huge, right? And we still, and even like say factory workers, they protest, right? They have their strikes. Do you think we're just ever gonna learn from it after everything? Because you see the causes that can do. Like, do you think we'll ever in the next? I'll just say 5 years. I'll bring it down a notch. Do you think we'll see in the next 5 years. I mean,
it's gonna be 5.
I'm just saying
it's gonna be 5.
We got self-driven cars now. We got technology so advanced. We got these, changes going on for that level. But
10, 15, maybe.
It may,
but we got to stay on. You got to keep a foot on the pedal, honestly, because another news story. This gets put up under the rug. Under the rug.
Yeah, I agree with him. We got to get some old guys on that old stuff.
Well, and I think that's the worst part because, like JJ said, we're moving on to this positive level, but then one incident happened and it triggers a whole new thing, and then it just we're back on. So that's, what do you think it takes to you said the old guys, but as far as like I keep on coming back to pay for for females or teachers pay or anything like that. What changes do you think they could possibly start doing? It's easy to say. Pay them equally.
They're just gonna have to start weeding the bad ones out, because the ones that are up at the top are the ones collecting those paychecks, and the rules are good for them right now, so they're not gonna change nothing up.
Yeah, that's it. You're gonna have to just got to get the bad apples out. That'd be the only way.
That's why those the teachers are not getting paid what they should. Like, teachers shouldn't be having to buy their own school supplies and stuff.
Yep, and you think in public schools, look how many students they probably have. So you paying for what, 50 plus students, easy. Come on. It's ridiculous. And then you have we talked about it in a previous episode about student athletes getting paid. That's the subject of its own, right? Come on.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, if my head coach is getting paid $10 million a year, and my professor's getting paid 6 figures, maybe even that, but I'm athletics are the main gross of this university, and I'm not getting anything. Yeah, I'm getting a degree, but still, we come from a less fortunate background. I can't afford to do this and do that, so just provide a little something.
That's what they say. You're getting your degree. That's your payment right there. But I don't think that should be.
But that's if they even finish. A lot of the pros, they finish. Depending on what sport you got, basketball, they'll finish after 1 year. Boom, they in the pros.
But they're still struggling to eat during the week. It's like, okay, yeah, them team meals on the road, like they pay more, but during the week they're like, it's rough, man.
But the basketball, and football, usually at the university, they the ones bringing in the money. The field hockey team ain't bringing in the money.
Yeah.
Danny. Oh, watch out, Danny. You got to be watching.
I'm just saying.
All right, Danny, I remember that. We gonna remember that. Well, look, guys, we can continue to go on and on and on this topic, but we got more to go with the show. So, guys, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. We got next Mr. Jonathan Jones bringing us a good topic. So we'll be back with our Smooth Club.
Welcome back to our Smooth Club. All right, fellas, lighten it up a little bit. Let's talk about hobbies. Something that you just always wanted to do, but maybe just didn't really have the time to get around to it. You could do anything. What would it be?
Definitely the piano.
Really?
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Alicia
okay.
Keys, Jamie
Okay.
Foxx, microphone. Definitely piano. Little Beethoven or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, piano. I just, it seems
That's
like
cool.
You ain't trying to show up for the ladies. That's all.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song?
If somebody else got to sing though, I'll play.
We all had that level we think we could sing, the shower in the car. And then you realize you're like,
I love to sing, but it might not sound it might not sound the same to you as it sounds to me.
Like, I got a beautiful voice to me. To other people, they tossing fruits and everything.
I don't know why they're doing that.
Tomatoes.
But definitely piano, man. I think it's sounds good, and it just looks good when you're playing it.
Wonder how long that takes to actually
exactly.
Man, I'm sure it takes years upon years,
Man, and I can't stand because I have friends that they self teach themselves how to play piano. It takes them maybe like a couple
Oh,
months.
I couldn't
And
imagine.
I'm like,
that.
y'all can go
I couldn't
somewhere,
imagine
man.
that.
I shun them for like at least 5 minutes. I'm like,
I work with a guy like that.
Really?
You learn how to play itself. You learn. He can't read the music, but he can hear the song.
Really? So that's even harder. You can't even read the music
with the piano.
I was like, man, you see, I just learned.
How
you just
that's something special.
Yeah.
That's one of the hard. I mean, I took band in middle school and stuff, but just for an elective. I didn't care about it. I did the sax for a short time, and then I did the trumpet. Okay. I sucked at both, and I did, and that was with an instructor too. I still suck. But when I think about it now, I'm like, man, I wish I continue to pursue that because I mean, everyone loves music. I love music. I love jazz. I love all genres of music. But I wish I did. I mean, the piano, that's one of like the all-time ones. I mean, who doesn't want to learn?
See, we were in the same band class in
high
school. What you do? I was doing the bass drum, but the thing is like I could do the beat, but I didn't know how to read music.
JJ was like that guy on drumline, like
that was me. Like I could do the beats, and that was fine the whole song, but read music, no.
And I could play it off real good, but when that instructor said, "All right, your turn, Aaron," I'm like,
have you been practicing?
It's something stuck. I think I need some oil to go up. My bad. But man, for a hobby for me though, I think just art. It was a subject that I hated in school, but it was because I was awful at it. I really wish I could, draw good, even like paint good. I always drive downtown and I see like these awesome murals, man. There's people like just one person did that whole thing. I'm like, that is so talented. And then on top of that, I'm like, look at the money people pay for, paintings. I could make a crappy painting and sell it for about $1 million. I'm like, man, I would love to, but you look at stuff like on social media or Instagram. We were talking earlier, and this is one guy. I think he paints what like objects. Like what were you explaining, Danny?
He paints it. Use a basketball, use some type of object, but he paints it upside down. And then he flips it around.
Oh, exactly. Like how creative is that? First of all, who even thought? Because I'm thinking, okay, I just need a paintbrush. I need some paint. I'm good. Oh no, you can use that pen or that hammer right there, and you can do a whole
painted with a basketball one time. I think he did Kobe. Basketball.
Man,
that's crazy.
Like, man, you paint upside down. First of all, paint with a not with a paintbrush, with an object. Man, this is unreal.
This is so that would be one of my hobbies. Definitely art. I wish I was pick up on art. So
I think for me it's boxing, man. Like
boxing.
That's like what, like the hardest sport. Hardest sport, and just like
get you in shape too.
I mean, I ain't playing hockey no more, so like boxing gets that heart rate back up. I miss that little physical contact and stuff too. Just like in the gym doing the workouts, I feel like that would just be something fun. Plus, I mean, you learning like fighting. Like, hey, you never know when something's gonna happen. You might have to
work out, but when it comes to sparring, don't hit me in my nose. I'm like, you're my friend. I'm like, I told you, man, don't hit me. Just a gentle tap. I just want to get the card. I mean, again, the losing weight, because he saw the transition that Mike Tyson was. Oh yeah. I mean, oh my gosh, that dude's what, 50 something, and he just shredded. And I'm like, phew. Mike Tyson.
But it gets you, I don't think it would really be any cons to, boxing.
Yeah.
But the workouts are probably brutal.
Absolutely.
And like you said, something happened, you gotta win.
Exactly.
You gotta defend yourself.
I left my burner at home. What I say? You lose something.
You win to fight another day.
You live to fight another day.
Yeah, but that'd be good, and and it keep you in shape.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you get a little older, of course you would want to keep it.
But them hands still quicker. I saw a tape of Mayweather's dad one time. I'm like, oh my, this man is 60 something.
This guy's been boxing, since 60, been boxing 50 years. 55
They've been fighting since birth, and them hands are still quick. I'm like, oh my gosh.
You boxing that long, I hope you still got it.
That's tough. But I mean, that's good though, because I mean, I think I might pick up on boxing. I don't know. Boxing and MMA. I love MMA. I would never fight in that cage.
That's different.
That's different.
That's different.
So in a couple of years, we'll come back and see who got around to that.
Exactly.
Those
hobbies. I'm gonna still be having difficulty drawing a circle. I'm gonna be like, I'm still drawing six figures, man.
I'm gonna open up for Jamie Foxx at the Nova.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Danny Hinton just
behind the Millie Vanilli, but I'm there.
Hold up, man. I see his fingers, but that's a different song.
I'm gonna be playing the piano. I might not be the one singing,
Look, Daddy step away from the piano. That piano still playing. Turn that thing off.
Tell them.
Oh my gosh! All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with our Smooth Club.
Check out What's Going On Wednesday, a weekly vlog with co-hosts Arrington Gavin and Jonathan Jones. Hear them speak on topics such as sports, men's health, business, current events, and so much more. You don't want to miss as they tackle a range of funny and serious topics. Catch them every Wednesday on YouTube at Rugged Evo TV. Rugged is the new smooth.
Welcome back to All Smooth Club. All right, fellas, age-old question.
Uh-oh.
Talking sports now.
Here we go.
Talking sports. All right, we're talking greatest. There's so many things that could be put in who's the greatest or what do you consider the greatest besides, records, anything like that. So what do you guys consider to be the greatest or like the greatest basketball player or football player, baseball player? What would you consider besides, you can add the record, but what would you also put in there to be considered the greatest?
First off, for me, like LeBron, he's doing his thing. Like LeBron, he's lasting. That's another thing. It's like how far you can last and like still continue to do that thing and not just fall off. But I'm just saying, after watching The Last Dance, like I got to see all of Michael when he came up, and I was like, man, that man was a rock star. Mm-hmm. They had people outside his hotel room waiting to see him and stuff. And like I think it's different now because social media, like it's a lot more. So that might seem like somebody's a lot more popular, but still, like it's hard because like Jordan, it seemed kind of like basketball was like a hobby for him because he went to baseball and he's like, oh, I'm coming back. But when he was in his zone, he was in his zone. Like that was him.
If you can smoke 2 cigars and shoot 18 holes before a final game, I'm just saying.
Exactly.
That's greatness.
That's greatness.
I feel like
okay, he got the G right there. He got the G and the O right there.
Like it's so many factors for that. Like it's just based off like opinion. I feel like honestly, it's like championships is one thing, but like if you're not in the right places, like it's like if you don't get a championship, you don't get a championship. But like you could still be putting up them numbers, but like well, you're not the GOAT. You didn't win a championship.
Well, and I look at personal accomplishments because, again, like you said, championships is one thing. You can have 11 championships, but your stats look awful and not compared. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can always, especially championships are a team effort. Yeah. Okay. Now, for football and basketball, everything is a team effort. For just decide to defend what JJ was saying. We grew up in like 95. So that's when we were born. So those 90s eras, we never really witnessed that. We grew up, in LeBron eras. LeBron is still a beast. I mean, for his size and his ability with what he can do and the long pace that he's doing, he is definitely on the cuff of being definitely one of the greatest. And he's already is. I take it back.
No doubt.
Yeah. But Jordan will forever be. I mean, that man, again, he took some time off and said, "Look, I'm gonna try to play professional baseball. If it don't work out, I'm gonna come back and take y'all to a championship." So that showed. Now for football, that's my sport, I'll just say for running backs alone, Adrian Peterson is one of the greatest for me. Adrian Peterson, I remember when he first signed with the Redskins, he was I think 33 years old as a running back. Now the average, length of time for running backs are really like 7 years, 8 years, really until they retire. Now Emmitt Smith is I know that's one of your boys for the Cowboys. Emmitt rarely did it because Emmitt was a running back as a starter for 15 years. So, and he's still, still in great shape. For Adrian Peterson, man, Adrian Peterson went off. I mean, he had 1,000 rushing yards at that age. I think that was one of the first ever. He's at one of the top, at least the top 5, but to me, he's one of the greatest running backs. And I think when he retires, he would definitely, come upon that. Now it depends because right now, seasons is iffy, but him, Randy Moss is one of the greatest receivers. I'll say Randy, Terrell, and Larry Fitzgerald. Those are my top 3 receivers. As much as Terrell can get on my nerves with his,
Jerry
is he's up there. I mean, I can't dog Jerry because Jerry did 20 years and he's still fresh. He's definitely up there. I'm not gonna even talk. I can't talk John because he played 20 years at a he could have did 21 years. He's definitely in that. But as for me, it's just Randy Moss is a specimen, bro. Randy Moss is so good. He did a short time. I think he did like 14 years. Randy is a beast. Jerry Rice is a beast. Jerry Rice also got the rings as well too, and he had the great quarterback. But all those guys they're definitely at the greatest for football. I can go on for different positions, but I'm not. But for basketball, Oh man, I mean,
gotta say it. Go ahead.
Patrick Ewing, one of the greatest. I'm a Knicks fan. I can't say it. Patrick, Stephon Marbury. As much as they don't want to say anything, Stephon did 14 years in the NBA, then did 9 additional years in the China League, and he became he's a rock star. Yeah. So I mean, even though he has some struggles, man, he's one of the greatest. Oh man, who else? Melo's definitely up there. Of course, LeBron, Kyrie, Kawhi. As much as Kawhi struggled, that Kawhi's gonna be retiring one of the greatest. I mean, it's just I guess the level now with athletes, their body types, you have more tools they can use. They're beasts. I mean, you got high school. Look at Zion. Zion is a beast, man.
Yeah, that man.
He's a beast. He's a beast. So I mean, it's hard to define it from all that, but it's tough because LeBron has his ring. He has his, 4th MVP. What do you think?
When we talk about greatest, do we consider outside of the sport? Mm-hmm. Do we factor that in too?
As far as what they can do in a public
as far as being, part of the greatest. Because let's say for instance, MJ. MJ didn't do a lot of things socially. Like LeBron, does now with schools and social reform and just speaking out against social injustice. So does that have do you factor that in when you consider who's the greatest?
I would say so, but those diehard sports fans oh no, you don't have a ring, you ain't got MVP, you nothing. Mm-hmm. But honestly, yeah, the deal with that, not even just playing a sport, but all that comes with it and all the pressure and all the media and stuff and how you portray yourself on a daily basis. I think so.
I think
definitely
not.
Exactly the type of person I'm talking about.
I think that is good to have in their career, but I mean, you got players that are awful in the league, but they probably do a lot of
well, I mean, the league comes first. Yeah, if you can ball, then that's the number one criteria. But
still, we talked about Muhammad Ali, what he did outside of the sport. It was awesome. What LeBron is doing with the school, that is awesome. You got Terrell Owens, who is a beast outside of the sport. He can be acting like a fool sometimes. Yeah. So again, but he's a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. So again, you have those players that are fully accomplished. I guess it's a different something. Yeah. It will be nice to bring in though, because again, you have those fans that say, they just play the sport, don't get really too all up in the mess. But really, if the sport says, okay, we do a lot of charitable work and those guys are involved in charitable work, I think they should. So I'll take my answer back. I apologize. If I offended anybody, I'll take it back. But yeah, they should definitely incorporate that. I think so.
Yeah, that's why, even when it comes to boxing, say Muhammad Ali is one of the greatest. He doesn't have the best record.
Floyd Mayweather.
Just but everything he's done, what he stood for. Yeah. He was willing to go to jail for what he believed in.
Absolutely.
So I think
that's powerful. That's really powerful. You stopped checks. You took your belt away. I mean, he suffered. Mayweather's gonna say, how much do I gotta give back? You know what? I can do 2 years.
But fellas, we can go back and forth with this
back and
2
forth.
hours.
Back and forth.
But our Smooth Club, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in just a second.
You suffer from patchiness or irritation and want a fuller beard? Rugged Evolution features 16 amazing balms, oils, shampoos, and accessories. For more information, go to RuggedEvo.com.
And remember, Rugged is.
All right, guys. I want to propose a toast. To the ones that are starting out small business. You have that one idea, that you don't know if you should go with it. You feel like it may be too late in life. You gotta go for it, man.
Okay.
Then people just grab life by the horn.
YOLO.
So let's do it. Propose a toast to them. Make sure to follow us, our Smooth Club, and we'll be back soon. Thank you for having us.
Cheers, fellas.